Hello guys, Land Anime here. Just doing a random 20 anime recommendations video that I've been kind of wanting to doing for a while. A lot of these shows are ones that just didn't quite make me want to make, I guess, a full video about, and some are also ones that I've even just recently rewatched, watched, or just given above a 6 out of 10 that I wanted to recommend to people that may or more not so get something out of it, just like I did. And with this video, there is really no particular order. I was going to do initially some genres, just to kind of say, like, this one's slice of life, or mecha, or romance, or comedy, but we're all just kind of throwing them together just for the fun of the video, so I really do hope you guys enjoy. Also, a side note, a lot of the ones that you're seeing the footage of now are ones that didn't quite make the cut, ones that either were just too popular or enough people talk about. They're just the ones that were in my honorable mentions on my little scratch-off notes that didn't quite make the cut. So if you see those here in the opening of this video, the footage of a show that you know, and want to know my thoughts, you can always comment or message me on Twitter or whatever you guys need to do. Another note, most of these I tried to make sure that they're easy to find, fully subtitled. I am fluent in Japanese, but it's been over 2 years since I brushed up on it, being able to read a lot of it, so some of you are decent in the dialects of Japanese. I can always give you a guidebook or like send you the torrents if it's not fully subtitled, but I've made sure a majority of these are just set to watch. And if they, some of them aren't on this particular list, like I said, it's random, always leave a comment or send me an email and I can kind of give you a guidebook to what they're saying, or if you don't understand and really want to watch the show, I can do that for you, because some of these are old and not fan-subbed. So with that out of the way, let's kick this off. I'm going to start up with a personally special one. Kyousougiga. Well, we are starting off with the first entry with the only one that has been the only one so far to crack my top 10, and it will be the only one because my top 10 are something that are personally special to me, but for me, I've never made a video dedicated to it, and I think I need to drop it here. That's one that I personally do feel that some people need to watch. Kyousougiga is a story about a family obligated by space and time itself falling apart and finding their way back to each other. And it being Rie Matsumoto's best pictorial work, in my opinion, and between the insane colors and art direction, it's just a story about family. Whether that be it being from the youngest son who is a human, a middle older sister who is a demon, and the oldest son who is a drawing, coming back to this world. Altogether, it just, from start to finish, is about family. If there was anything I could tell you is, it did take me 3 watches before it became a permanent figure in my top 10. And Kyousougiga has some sci-fi elements that some people honestly might get a kick out of. So definitely check this one out. Kemurikusa. Same as Kimono Friends fame of the time, obviously by style and look, Studio Yairozu was kind of back here with this absolutely random show I had seen. Kind of a show set in a post-apocalyptic world against these giant, like, mechanical bugs of some kind of superpowers trying to fight those off. With our main boy, who becomes an asset, this entire family of these little kind of like, I don't even know what you want to say, creatures fighting against those bugs, but he is kind of isekai'd into it, even though I wouldn't really consider it an isekai. But yeah, it's actually one of the better CGI shows I've seen when it comes to weirdness. And yeah, definitely go on with this one. There's also, I believe, an ONA that came out on Twitter by the creator before this. And that one's a pretty good thing to watch before this, but if you just want to watch Kemurikusa TV, yeah, I'd probably just go eat shit. Definitely highly recommend. I enjoyed it a lot. Seine no Hoshi. Also, obviously, starting off a big fan, done by Studio Sunrise. This is an action drama, also somehow like a historical, while set in Paris, kind of giving you those revolutionary vibes of your good old revolutionary girl Utena's and Rose of Versailles, I guess. This one only cracks about 39 episodes, which is why I knocked it out so fast, which also another Studio Sunrise show, which, albeit way not like this one, obviously, but one of my most personal memes is Densetsu Kyojin Idion. Also directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino. and it's kind of set kind of before this revolution goes on, with a very like brutal fighting story, just with like your own femme fatale lead, and going through there is some kind of backstory about close ones getting kind of slaughtered and what have you, and an arc near the third, fourth, I'd say 3/4 in, where our main heroine kind of goes through like a dark phase that honestly made the entire series worth watching for me. So definitely go look at this one. If I could even sell you on it, then I'd probably say at least give it an episode. Bokura wa minna Kawai-sou. Directed by Shigeyuki Miya, follows a young boy who is set up in the Kawaii complex, hence its name, with a girl who, oh boy, does she love to read books. There's also some other things that go on with this in the show, with it being a romance story. Being in the Kawaii complex, he has to deal with other roommates being set there after his parents kind of just leave him there in his freshman year in high school or in Japan, him being a first year. Said girl is a second year, so his senpai. And then there's also this weird dude who just kind of like floats around and does construction and fucks off. One chick with adult romance issues, and another girl who is in college who just loves memeing people. So basically just a comedy that has all of these characters together just being terrible people, interspersed with one of the most adorable saccharine tales of two people falling in love I've ever seen. The show never does finish what the manga does, but I honestly was so captivated with just how much expression is done within this show, and every second I had a smile on my face. And we're going to be talking about a lot of shows in these next upcoming entries that did the same thing, but for a romance comedy, yeah, definitely this is going to be probably one of my favorites. Rokuhou-dou, Yotsuiro Biyori. This anime follows the grandkid of our main character, who has a brother who followed a very different path from him. He ends up following in his grandfather's footsteps on keeping this this cafe that a lot of people around this small town really connect with, and the story in itself goes around with him trying to keep his grandfather's love of, you know, following like almost like a tea shop and a cafe around as to where his brother went full on to like the corporate business of Japan. Also, it being the best and like just having an ensemble cast of just 4 handsome boys and captivating in several different other characters' stories. Sometimes just at the end of the day, you just have to kind of calm down and just have a coffee or maybe some cake with these guys. And even there's some backstory into traditional Japanese cafe techniques and stuff. And this one kind of falls into our next entry, actually stomping mochi. There's an entire episode based on that. Without spoiling too much, it's just your basic slice of life yashike that happens to have some bakery goods and what have you. So I'm just gonna kind of cut that one off here and go into one that I actually think I might have liked even more. Kuma Bear. The only show that's on my mouth that's a meme that I gave a 10 out of 10, and that is just on enjoyment because of the smile I had on my face during this entire goofy ass series. That I guess is technically an isekai, which I usually don't like, but it's an isekai comedy. You see Yuna, pretty much a pro gamer whose life revolves around being VR and dicking around, and she has some kind of obsession with bears, and is sent to a world where it just is in reverse, and all of her skills just become the solution to everything, which is kind of the joy, like, to me, the enjoyment of this show. It solves everyone's problems, every character she meets, and include lots of bear puns, which I got a kick out of. If you've seen my Twitter, doing constant bear memes, and I'll throw one at you here. Oh boy, is it awesome! It's fucking hilarious. so fucking stupid. So many people make fun of me that I gave this a 10 out of 10, but legitimately, out of some of the shows that started coming out in the 2020s, this one I can't really see not recommending to anybody. I really think some people should at least check out the first season before Kuma Bear Punch, which is the second season. It came out a couple years later. It's pretty good. Katte Ni Kaizo. Pretty solid 6-episode OVA done by Studio Shaft that had me rolling along with laughter. It comes with dick jokes in the first episode. The kid who joins their science club with a bunch of wacky characters, of course, just only something that Akiyuki Shimbo would come up with. Actually a manga that I recently reread that is just as funny. I only recently realized that this got an OVA adaptation. Following lots of these goofy ass dick jokes, this club meets aliens, goes along with some usual, like, I guess, cliche anime tropes, like, oh, this one's a tsundere, or the childhood friend character. And, albeit said childhood friend character makes one of the greatest lines I think I've seen in any anime OVA ever. Without spoiling it, I'll give it here, with a suicide note as a confession. Yeah, this is peak comedy. The only thing I can do is show you some funny shit on screen. Definitely check out Katte Ni Kaizo. This is a golden one right here by Shaft. Rosen Maiden. Particularly the 2013 version. I'm doing this one for more so a friend. I have recently rewatched the TV anime of Rosen Maiden that came out, and I honestly didn't like it as much because Rosen Maiden 2013's, I guess, kind of old style. It gave me kind of a throwback to some kind of Crayon Shin-chan and almost some Zatch Bell kind of situations where they want to be serious, but you can tell the show doesn't take it too seriously. Following like a bunch of dolls who kind of start out with like this big old fighting story that kind of by the end roughs off and not really caring about that exact line, just more so going into the comedies of having, say, like in Shin-chan, an archetype of almost every anime genre you can believe. And I think that's why it's more enjoyable. I think I almost enjoy this one much more as a comedy. So to you, Ellen, thank you very much for getting me to rewatch this one. So yeah, I'm gonna throw Rosen Maiden in here. It's just a pretty easy, quick one. I had a great rewatch for this one. Tentai Senshi Sunred. This is an anime I had watched after going through a really bad spell of having seizures, and was kind of comatose out at my father's house, and found the entire thing, I believe, on Amazon Prime, and clicked on it, and I couldn't believe actually what I was in for. It's a comedy that has General Vamp, who is kind of the most beloved character of the show, despite Sunred being in the title of the show, who is the quote-unquote villain, but it goes into like a comedy, low-budget version of it, like a Super Sentai kind of show. But then you'll also watch in some of these short episodes some things with them having to work together to get some bad business dealings and what have you. Just kind of figure it out, and it's stupid. Over one season, and you could knock it out in a day. I really wish. I've never been to an anime convention where someone has talked to me about Senshi Sunred, so if we can, let's make that a thing of the past. Somebody, please out there, talk to me about this show. Plawres Sanshiro, or that's short to Plastic Model Wrestling Sanshiro. If you think of Metal Fight Beyblade, which is probably the only adaptation of Beyblade that I did enjoy anime-wise as I've gotten older and a little bit more cynical about I guess, how visuals look. Think of life-sized wrestling robots, but in Beyblade, where you have almost like a Pokemon master that controls it, doing things even like, say, do a suplex or a pile driver. There's also some special moves thrown in there. It's a very old anime that I did believe somebody back when I was in high school who fan-dubbed a lot of Japanese shows gave me, I think, like the first 8 episodes of, and I think at least up to half of the show is now maybe partially badly subbed.
but you can at least watch the first half just fine, probably through torrent. So this is another one. If you guys have any issues, just give me a comment or shoot me a message and I can help you out. But I watched this entire series all the way through probably twice, and if there's anything else I can do to sell you on it, there is tournament arcs constantly for some fucking reason, and that's old shows, I guess, for you. And all the tournament arcs are done by multiple countries, so for a show that's several decades old, this one was so much fun. Plawres Sanshiro is kind of like a long-standing, I'm not gonna say personal favorite, but just kind of like a personal meme for me. And obviously no one's ever been able to talk to me about it because no one's seen it. So definitely check out Plawres Sanshiro. Phantom. Requiem for the Phantom. Yeah, I would say probably not the best titled anime I had seen. Also, the more I watch Studio B Train, knowing that lots of their works look in the animation department and also art and background like absolute dog shit. Requiem kind of, I think this show taught me that a lot of their shows give so much charm and heart into it that I started to enjoy lots of their works more. And also having a brother who is fully, like, as if I'm an otaku, he is a gamer, and him getting me into the Hitman franchise, I'm sure you, if you guys know this show, have seen that recommended and maybe compared to this a lot. It follows two characters, a guy and a girl. The guy gets kind of brainwashed to go out on these missions into this like universe that's kind of known as the Inferno, and they are like super big killers. And he has I don't even know if you want to say like a sensei that teaches him the good ways, because this is a long show. If I give you much more than just those details, it would be kind of spoiling it, but it's basically them trying to discover who they were again and make sure that they could come back to their old life and get out of this brainwash stuff, because they can understand that killing is wrong. But all of those missions until that happens is fucking awesome, with one of the most baffling, and not baffling in a bad way, insane endings I have ever seen. I'm going to cut myself off right here because I do not want to spoil it, but Phantom is definitely an anime for some of you gamers out there who like your stealth spy shit. This is pretty wicked. Heike Monogatari. Alas, yes, here we are at the other Kyoto animation, also another one and the last one on this list, directed by Naoko Yamada. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to get too emotional on this one. I studied lots of Japanese history with my my tutor Hikaru, and Heike Monogatari was one of the recommendations that it's hard to give to people, I guess based on just how hard it is to follow if you don't know the history. But it's a history that is kind of on a dual side of how Japan wants to tell you, and that's why I find this anime so beautifully that like it just nails it in such a short amount of time, because you follow Biwa, who is supposed to be you in the story directly, because it's supposed to be you witnessing what happened in 12th century Japan, and it's a historical retelling of Japan. Let me put it this way: Japan has a very strong realization that sometimes defeatism can be a good thing. So in this story, there is no good or bad guy. In the Kamigura era of Japan, there is also the Heike that fought the Minamoto family. So in some history, one is better than the others. And in Biwa, our main character, just kind of being a like side character to imagine this and just telling everyone that freedom and anarchy are just wrong. All of you fighting just to have, say, one emperor marry another and just fight alongside each other or kill them if not, is just wrong. All fighting is wrong. I'm not doing this any justice, because I'm kind of trying to rush through this because otherwise I'm going to get a little too spoily, but Heike Monogatari is a ride that I'm going to carry it with me for a long, long time. And if some of you watch it, re-listen to the ED, and I can't wait to hear after your watch what you tell me about how you feel about those Gion shoujo bells. Okay, oh boy, on to a much popular note. Great Teacher Onizuka. Great Teacher Onizuka, I do think, almost like Bash the Stampede and Trigun has been almost forgotten, and until Trigun's new adaptation came out. Therefore, I think in limbo here for like the last 10 years, these shows were kind of like an equal on just having this like badass character, but for me more so, I think Great Teacher Onizuka kind of registered more to me because I didn't know until recently rewatching that there was a prequel called Young GTO, or Great Teacher Onizuka, that shows him as, this is your Kurabara from Yu Yu Hakusho. Your coming up kid. It's a classic like 90s punk Japanese kid, whooping ass, trying to get fucking pussy, all that shit. But then Great Teacher Onizuka, not only with its stellar soundtrack and everything, I think it's meant a lot to a lot of anime fans, and kind of what it teaches within its long runtime. I took a lot of things away from the show, and its comedy is a little unfounded, but I can't believe how many life lessons this show can teach you between your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. Just saying, fuck you. I like anime. Like, watch this. Just this show will speak for itself. There's nothing I can do to give Great Teacher Onizuka justice. Definitely at least needs to crack at least my top 30. And I know it sounds crazy, but you're also talking to a guy who has seen at least one episode of over 1,700 shows. So, if that doesn't say anything, I don't know what will. Hi Ako desu. Probably one of the most long-running and also oldest series on my list. I believe over 160 episodes. This is a kind of a family drama / slice of life following Ako, and it's just kind of her battling her chores with her family, also her loved ones, and also her children. And it kind of throws, for an older anime, some surprising scenarios at you, like fights with neighbors and also other kids fighting his kids, and lots of stuff in between. Some of these folk are actually get pretty crazy for an older Japanese slice of life. I think it's actually aged pretty well. In current like Japanese news you hear, I think revisiting it, knowing how long it is, this might be kind of a tough one to recommend, but I do think if you put in the time, it's pretty lovely. It's a pretty lovely show. So I definitely give this one a look too. Smile Down the Road. I'm gonna let you guys hear this. That was the slap of my pen to come down to even see what I can say without spoiling anything in the show, because I did have an analysis of this entire show planned for another video, but that never came to fruition. So I'm just gonna do it here in a small recommendation, so some people can, make their own opinions of it. Smile, it surprised me, and how deeply it got me in the feels. But just finding a story of someone who is so ambitious and talented, and I guess trying to thrive in the model industry, while also having someone who is so into fashion design help her out along her way. This show just follows it within just a single core episodic series, how that can go, and just an incredible adventure. I recommend it wholeheartedly. Miyuki. For a show with over 30 episodes, I don't really read anyone's opinions on this that I think understands the point. Say, I watched Ita Kiss recently, and would compare it to this show in that it is a romance slice of life that has character development and also some time skips that go through going through like high school and into adulthood, with many characters just kind of finding their own branches throughout the story in like a weaving narrative arc. I'd probably put it more so up there with like Mason Ikoku if you're going to talk about like age and growing, and the comedy aspect maybe more so like Ai Tenchi Densetsu Wedding Peaches, I guess, a lack of comedy aspects of the time. So in going in depth and reading it and watching this entirety, it's the only thing I can come up with to tell you is it's better than School Rumble, and it's funnier. I don't know. I know that's a popular show. Maybe that'll get somebody to watch it. Alas, here we are. Our 20th and final entry of the day. Metal Fighter Miku. I want to preface this with saying I'm sorry if I also get a little emotional and nostalgic again. Metal Fighter Miku was my first anime. In 2003, when I was like 6.5, 7 years old, my mother and father bought me a VHS tape of Metal Fighter Miku. A goofy ass, almost like Power Rangers, mechanical wrestling series about 4 girls. And when I was young, Miku, now being 27, is still kind of my hero in a way. It isn't fair to put this in a recommendation spot because I know it has, more like sentimental value to me, and that's subjective. But in rewatching it in my adulthood, I rewrote a blog on it after rewatching it back in 2016 and rewatched it again this year, and nothing has changed. I still think this show stands the test of time. And Miku is challenging herself to get to be the world champion within this entire, drive to become from the bottom to the top a mechanical wrestler. And within a lot of those 6 women tag matches and stuff, like No and some of these other characters, they kind of get swept into her journey, and it's pretty it's a coming of age. If it wasn't for Metal Fighter Miku, I don't know if I ever would have started learning hiragana and katakana and becoming a part of the anime community. And for this show, I felt like I needed to end this video on it because I really owe this show to a lot of my otaku fandom. So that VHS tape is always going to hold a very, very special place in my heart, and so will Miku. And that's a wrap. So, with this video being up and down, some of these are more rushed than others, and I'm sorry for that. This was 20 random anime recommendations from your boy, Landanime. I really appreciate you for watching this far, and hopefully I can get some more videos out to you guys soon. And if you guys have any questions about anything, comment and get at me. Please subscribe and have a good one.